Hi, and welcome back to the channel. I'm KarenDC, and I'm glad you're here. I want to be able to share with you some of the information that I have gathered over my 55 plus years of experience of connecting with the angels and guides and spirit, and share that with you to help you along your journey. And what I want to talk about is, we all have different gifts. You hear of them all, hearing, seeing, feeling, tasting, smelling, knowing. I think those are most of them. But to hear, see, feel, know, taste, and smell, those are the ones that are the most common. Now, I can say that I've worked with all of those and in one way or another, but my strongest one is I feel, I see with my physical eye, and also within my third eye, I see a lot. Um, I feel, so I'm very empathic emotionally, and I also feel medically intuitive, kind of like I get brought into body parts and organs, and sometimes I'll hear the words, like I remember one time um, I was working with a client, and all of a sudden I heard pancreas. I'm like, okay, that's really weird. And, I don't know much about a pancreas, but it was very clear, and I started getting a discomfort in my body, and so I asked, and they actually had some issue with their pancreas. So this is the thing, that each of us have these different languages, and I hear clients and friends tell me all the time, oh, I wish I could hear them, I want to hear their voices and this and that. I don't really hear their voice. It is a vibrational energy that I get through the angels and guides. When I say I hear the words, I very often will hear like a word, but it's almost like, how can I explain it? So when you're in the tub and you're laying in the waters all the way up to the sides of your face, your ears are in the water, and somebody comes in the room and starts talking, it's kind of muffled. So it's more a vibrational resonance coming through the water. You can't make it out perfectly clear. That's kind of like what it feels like when I hear the angels. So it's not always perfectly clear, but they use all of the languages that I hear, I know, I see, I feel. So they use them kind of like, I only speak English as Karen. On the other side, I can hear and understand all languages. I can't speak them out, but I'm able to translate them somehow. They made it work. I didn't know about it. And they will bring things to me. And if I don't quite get how to translate what they're saying to me, I ask for imagery, because being a photographer, I think in images. So when I see things, if I can't get the words they're communicating to me, I will say, hey, can you give me an image to help me understand? And that was, very helpful to me in many cases with my clients. So what I want you to do is not think about that you want to hear just like somebody who can say they hear words from their guides and angels and loved ones, but think about the languages of your entire being. You can hear things out here, you can hear things inside your mind where it is your own words or left field, kind of like, where did that thought come from? Where did those words come from in your own voice or another? And you will realize that that isn't your thought, it is something being given to you. So that's a language. And so then you may feel like you may hear something odd, and they're like, hey, I have, sore stomach. And then all of a sudden your stomach starts hurting. You're like, oh, that's really weird. So they're giving you the message for you or somebody that they want you to communicate to, that there's something coming in regards to an issue with the stomach. So then you can ask that person, hey, are you having trouble with your stomach? And then you may notice, you may get funny taste or things like that, or smell something funny. So then you can start to explain that. So these are what I call the languages of spirituality. So I know they're clairvoyant, clairaudient, all those clairs, and the clairals. I heard somebody say that. I thought it was funny. But anyways, I call them the languages. And you need to understand that the language of being empathic, that is your body language. That is a very powerful one. And many of us, I'd say everybody has all of them, but which language they're most comfortable with and can understand and interpret the best, that is your strongest language. Like, I'm very empathic. And then from being empathic, I am very intuitive. So then I will get messages through intuition or guidance. They'll come in, and then they'll kind of boost that up and strengthen that message through an empathic feeling within me. So now I have two languages that help. So, like, I speak English and I know a little Spanish just to get in trouble. So those are the things that I would base my understanding of a situation off my English to understand the Spanish, and then try to, make a Spanglish out of it to be able to communicate. So, with your spiritual languages of hearing, seeing, feeling, knowing, tasting, smelling, touching, all of those, find out which ones are your strong points and always rely back to those and use those to boost the wisdom that you gather through, let's say, once in a while you get a taste or a smell, then go back to being that intuitive sense of whether you're really strongly empathic or intuitive, and use those languages to help to support and really be sure about that, maybe that taste or that smell message you got to help you understand it. I'll give you one of the funny quick ones before we end here. A friend of mine came to me and told me she wasn't feeling well, and she asked me to check her, and I put my fingers on her wrist. And so the angels had me do this years ago to this same friend, and I touched her wrist. And when I touched her wrist, it's like I get to go inside the blood and I see the cells almost like a microscope, and I'm able to look at them, never using really perfect, medical terms and all of that. But as soon as I touched her wrist and I had my eyes closed and I could feel myself moving through her system, then all of a sudden, you know how, well, maybe I'm dating myself, but anyways, when I was a kid and we played dodgeball and you got hit in the nose with the ball, it gave you that funky metal taste in your mouth. And that's exactly what I got when I touched her wrist. And then all of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute, there's an issue with your iron. Is your iron low? Have you been taking enough? And well, then she found out, she needed more iron. She took the iron. She started feeling better. But that was their way of me medically intuitive touching her to go into the system, but to get me to understand that she had an iron deficiency. They made me have that funky metal taste in my mouth. So then that's how I got to iron. So that's what I'm talking about, is using all these different languages that we have and using them together to help build a clear message for ourselves and to be able to share with clients and or friends, whoever you're receiving those messages for. So I hope that helps. Let me know, comment below, and subscribe and all of those good things. And don't forget to keep coming back and see what we bring in next week, okay? Take care. Bye bye.